Hey everyone, Angel of Alchemy here, also known as Mio Lammers. Today I wanted to do a really simple Q&A video because apparently you guys had a lot of questions, and even better yet, you had a lot of really good questions. I did post like a little thing that said, it was on my community thing where you can ask me a question after this video. If you still have a question to ask me, just leave it in the comments and I'll answer it. But it was basically ask me a personal question as long as it's not too personal, and I'll answer it. So we got a lot of questions. First one I'm going to answer is actually, do I have a job? The answer is not anymore. I actually put in my 2 weeks 2 weeks ago. My last day was yesterday on Valentine's Day because I needed a little bit of me time. Sadly at my job, it involved a lot of me, like just giving up time, just personal me time, and I really just need a moment to focus on myself, to enjoy the little things I used to before I started working. And so hopefully that means I'll be able to upload for you guys more and maybe get out a few extra videos. So it's a yay for you guys. I'm a little nervous about being broke, but at the same time I have saved up just a little bit. I just need some time to get back on my feet. So the answer to that question is I don't have a job anymore. We'll see what happens. So next we have, what will you be doing with all your Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the distant future, like your bulk and etc. So I actually did a video recently with Invoked 101 on his channel. I think he uploaded it, where we went through all of our deck boxes and we're like, hey, I don't really play this anymore and I only really built it for deck profile, so maybe it can be in a better home. So we actually are in the process of cleaning out some of our older decks and things. However, as for bulk, most of it just kind of sits in tins and boxes and things underneath my desk. The good thing about bulk is that if anything changes in ban list and whatever, and we're like, hey, that card's good, you can rummage through it and find it again without spending like 18 cents on TCG Player. Bad thing about bulk is that you've rummaged through it so many times, you just really don't want to. Also, a lot of the times it doesn't really cost like anything. So when it comes to like selling your bulk, there really isn't a point to. If you have bulk cards that you really just need to get rid of, I suggest giving them away, in all honesty. Just because a lot of the times it's not worth much. Definitely go through it before you decide to give away or sell your bulk, because you never know if you're going to be missing one of your best cards, you know? Let's see, so we have, how did you two meet? I'm assuming you don't mean me and Nubbins, and that you actually mean me and Nod. We met when I was a freshman in high school and he was a sophomore. Essentially, it was just me talking to my friends very first day of school. Wore some thigh highs, cute little skirt, white button-up shirt, tried to look all kawaii and stuff, and while I was talking to them, get down, Kiki. While I was talking to them, I felt a tap on my shoulder, turned around, this guy had his hood up, hair in his eyes, really cute, said hi. I said hey really politely, and then he ran away from me. And so I felt really bad because I turned back to my friend. I was like, did I scare him? And she drove me over to him and was like, hey, this is the guy. And I was like, hi guy, and he's like, hey. And that's essentially how we met, and we've been bothering each other ever since. So we have, for our next question, do you know how many hero monsters there are without looking? The answer is definitely not. There are a lot of hero cards. If you are somebody out there in the world who knows exactly how many hero cards there are without looking, why do you know that information? But also cool. I do not know how many hero cards there are, I just know that there's a lot of them. As a female, do other players give you trouble or are creepy towards you? So I actually haven't had too much trouble when it comes to being a female in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Not a lot of people hassle me, and Not a lot of people are creepy. Not to say that I haven't ever been hassled before. There are some people out there that are very, very rude to female players in the sense of they, for some reason, think that all female players are terrible just because they're female, which the answer is no. I am terrible because I'm a very casual player who doesn't ever practice. That is why I am bad. Having boobs has nothing to do with it. But also there are some that just are really, really mean towards females in general. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Has nothing to do with it. As for creepy, I'm not gonna lie, I've had some extremely creepy, actually scary moments where I did feel threatened. But in the end, those are just people bothering other people for no reason. The majority of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, in my experience, personally, has been actually rather positive. I've met a lot of really, really, really great people, and I have to say that in the end, yes, I've had some trouble. Yes, some people have been creepy and I've had some scary moments, but in the end, I really, really do enjoy being a female in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, and I'm proud that I can kind of represent it a little with my growing channel, you know? Also, I would like to state that I'm very sorry to any female who has had a lot of trouble or a lot of incidents where they felt scared or anything like that. Know that you can message me on my Instagram and we can talk about it and stuff, but for me personally, I haven't had too much trouble. Besides Yu-Gi-Oh!, what other games do you play, and will you have an episode about them? So Nod and I are actually getting into the TCG Transformers card game because, you know, Transformers, they're awesome, right? So I don't know if we're going to be doing any videos about them, especially because we are just now building our decks and trying to learn how to play. I don't think we're going to be doing any videos on this channel though, because I'd like to try to keep it as Yu-Gi-Oh! Related as possible if I can. However, we might do something on his channel if he would like. Let's see. What do you do for fun besides Yu-Gi-Oh? So I actually really love to cook, and I like photography, but sadly I don't get to do it all that often. Let's see. I guess for the most part, I kind of just like lounging around the house watching old cartoons, you know? Like not old cartoons, like older, like the ones I grew up with. You know, we have Kim Possible, Danny Phantom, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Jake Long the American Dragon, and just so many others that I actually really, really enjoy watching. I kind of wish cartoons were made the same now, but sadly they're not. But yeah, no, I just really like, I really like just kind of laying around watching TV, I'm not gonna lie. But I also really enjoy cooking. I do practice witchcraft a little bit, and I do find it fun. So there's that as well. But that's really it, I think. What made me want to do YouTube? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, what made me want to do YouTube, outside of the fact that of like, what 14-year-old kid doesn't want to start YouTube whenever they're younger? I started YouTube, this channel in particular, out of pure jealousy, because when I originally started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Nod had just finished his senior year of high school and hadn't been able to experience playing as much as he used to, because he used to play every day with his friends. And even though he and I would play together as often as we could, I could tell that, you know, he was still kind of bummed out and kind of losing interest in the game because he wasn't able to enjoy it as much as he used to. And he used to have a team channel with some of his friends that didn't work out. So I suggested, why doesn't he start a different channel? And so he started eventually doing Invoke 101, where he did deck profiles, but sadly I'd only been playing for so long, only a few months at the time, and I didn't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! Or especially deck building. So I would help out in the background, like I helped edit sometimes. I helped give him like tips on his videos. Just little things. I even helped set up the Invoked 101 Instagram. But as his channel grew, sadly, whenever people started recognizing him more often, they would be like, oh, you're Invoked 101. And in my mind, I was like, but we're Invoked 101, I help too. So I'm not gonna lie, I got very jealous, and that was my whole, like, I should start my own channel thing. I know about Yu-Gi-Oh now, so it was jealousy that ignited the I'm gonna start a channel, but after a while it was also like, hey, I had a ton of ideas that we were never able to do on Invoked 101 because it's a deck profile based channel. I can just do them on my channel, and so that's kind of what led me into keeping up with this channel rather than just starting it. Was just that I could finally do some of my old ideas that I had been sitting on for like a year. So yeah, this channel is based off of jealousy, guys. I think it's doing pretty well so far though. Do you play Magic or Pokemon as well as Yu-Gi-Oh? I played Pokemon when I was really little. But I stopped after my best friend moved away, and we were probably cheating pretty hardcore back then, but at the same time Pokemon isn't all that hard to learn, so maybe we were playing it right, but honestly I don't remember how to play Pokemon at all. As for Magic, I actually wanted to play Magic right before I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But the cards were expensive and I didn't have anyone to help teach me how to play. So in the end, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was kind of like, hey, Nod, did I do this combo wrong? Versus Magic of, I don't know what I'm doing, nobody can help me, please, somebody, I don't know what I'm doing. So I ended up actually just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So no, I don't play Magic and I don't play Pokemon, but I tried, and I used to for both. As a girl, does it bother you to play against someone who is using a lewd mat or sleeves? So this is actually one of the best questions that I got, because this isn't necessarily as a female does it bother you. It's more of my personal my personal morals, my personal perspective. Does it bother me to play against or to see somebody with lewd art? And the answer is kind of, but it's more in the sense of like, it doesn't bother me because like, oh, that guy is sexualizing Dark Magician Girl on his mat, he's a degenerate. It's more of, I'll look at that art, and I guess for me, like, obviously this is all personal opinions. For me, I don't think something unrealistic is sexy. So like, if I can look at like a lewd art piece and go, hey, somebody could cosplay that and look super hot, I find that like sexy. It's like, yeah, that's some really great art. However, I'm sure plenty of you guys have seen like the Dark Magician Girl, like she's wearing a bathing suit, bent over in the sand kind of thing. And if you look at how her panty like bottoms are just squeezing the life out of her thighs and hips and things, I gotta tell you, no woman would spend more than 5 seconds in something that tiny, because it would hurt so much. So I don't find that sexy because it's unrealistic, and that's completely just me and my personal things. I'll look at it more of like, I don't find that attractive, but hey, if you like it, cool. However, Nod, on the other hand, tells me that he very much, yes, feels completely uncomfortable playing against another man who has a lewd art on his mat or sleeves. And this is definitely when it goes not for kids under 13. I gotta say, if I was a dude sitting in front of a dude that has a mat of like some hentai chick on it, I would sit there and be like, you touch yourself to this mat, don't you? Don't put your hands on my sleeves or my mat. No, just my stuff. You stay on your side, I would be so creeped out at like just, ugh, you know? Just the idea of like, yep, I'm playing against a guy who probably touches himself to his own card sleeves. You know? I feel like as a dude, it's so much more uncomfortable for guys to play against guys who have lewd mats. Now, if it's like kawaii anime girls, I feel like that's a little less like, oh, well, he just has anime girls. But whenever it's like full lewd or nude stuff, I feel like it's a little more uncomfortable for the guys to play against that. Although I wouldn't doubt if a lot of females out there would definitely feel uncomfortable towards it as well. Just from my perspective, it's more of that's not very realistic. I don't see why you think that'd be sexy, you know? That's just my opinion. However, then we cross into the border of, is it anime or is it real? Because if you have like a playmat of like a YouTuber or your girlfriend or your wife or whoever, and you know they're kind of being like cute, little sexy feel to it and stuff, no, that's whatever. But if it was like full body pillow, like lewd art, that would be like, no, you put that away right now. Don't bring that out here. My eyes may be of age, but my heart says no. That is not for me. You put that back in your bag right now. So there's definitely different levels of being uncomfortable, you know? Like the more nude it gets, the more uncomfortable it gets, you know? But if it's just like cute art, it's whatever, you know? Cute art is cute art, right? So let's see here. I feel like I kind of rambled about that one, but it needed to be rambled about. So we have, what are you like IRL versus online? So I'm not gonna lie, this one might get a little sad. It's also a great question. So I try to be myself on camera as much as I possibly can be, in the sense of I always give my real opinions no matter how much rambling I do. And I like to give my own perspective on things. But also there's a lot of things that you don't see on camera, such as like how much I struggle with depression, you know? When I was 16, my heart started failing. And it wasn't until around 18 years old or so that it started getting better. And a lot of that had to do with my mental health. It got so bad that I was told that if I ever even felt slightly dizzy, I had to go to the ER, because there were moments where I'd just be sitting at my desk and I would faint. I would just fall over, just doing nothing. Everyone would be quiet, nothing to be anxious about or anything, and my heart would stop. I've struggled a lot with like mental illness the majority of my life because I've been through some really, really terrible, tragic things. And I feel like everyone, oh no, Vince, no, I hate him. I'm just gonna pet my nubbins, but I feel like everyone has gone through their own darknesses, you know? Everyone has been through something, and not everyone is gonna be willing to open up about it. And for me, I would like you guys to see the more lighthearted me, because I feel like that's the real me. The real me wants to be happy and smile and nerdy and geeky and wants to feel cute and pretty, and she likes dancing around and cooking and singing and being really, really weird and awkward. What I don't feel is the real me is the one that can just suddenly break, you know, the one that just kind of all of a sudden gives a dead stare and just can't stop crying for 3 hours straight. And I don't want you guys to see that side of me, so I think the only real difference between IRL me and online me is that if you know me in real life, you might accidentally catch me on a day when I just can't, you know, no matter how much I try. Also, if you guys ever do meet me in real life, I am very shy and awkward. So although I'll try to be as nice to you as I possibly can be, and sometimes we actually will have a fantastic conversation, and I really do like meeting new people, making new friends. There are some times where I've met people and I've just been so scared to talk to them because of my own like inner dialogue is like, oh, well, you're kind of stupid. Why would they want to talk to you? So I sometimes will get like really shy, and I don't want you guys to ever think that that's something that like I'm snobby or whatever and I just don't like talking to you. No, I would love to talk to you. Just sometimes I get kind of awkward. But yeah, I think the only real difference is that there's sometimes things that I would like to keep to myself because I don't want anyone else to see it, because I don't want them to be affected by it, you know? I don't want to bring down somebody's day because I feel sad, you know? I just feel like that's terrible. So, next question. Do I watch the Yu-Gi-Oh animes? The answer is no. I have watched the originals, not season 0, but like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't know. It's just not really for me. For the people who really, really enjoy it though, it's great that you guys enjoy it. But for me, it's just, I've never really gotten into it. Then we have, what got you into playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, Nod did. Nod introduced me to the game and he was like, hey, play. And I was like, okay. But I didn't really like it until Vendreads. Vendreads are what really got me into Yu-Gi-Oh. Sadly, they're not that playable anymore. Not saying that somebody out there doesn't play it still, but more in the sense of they just don't play the same as they used to. They don't feel the same. But Vendreads was the deck that got me excited to play, and it really was the deck that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh. What's my favorite thing about Yu-Gi-Oh? Honestly, probably the community. Like, I know that there's a lot of bad things you could say about the community, but at the same time, I really do enjoy just meeting people who also enjoy the same thing that I enjoy, you know? Like, I just really appreciate it. Like, there's so many times when somebody out there, whether they be 36 years old or 16 years old, they will have a passion for Yu-Gi-Oh, but they're too shy to talk about it. And then secretly they go to their friend's house and they're like, oh, hey, is that Yu-Gi-Oh card stash in your closet? And the friend's like, do you play? And then you're like, yeah. But very rarely does it actually happen to some people. Some people just feel absolutely alone with this hobby that they have and they can't share with anyone else. And so going online and meeting some of the community members actually is just fantastic to know that somebody else out there enjoys something as much as you do. It's incredible. Oh no, my phone. Alrighty, sorry for the weird cutscene. My phone actually started bugging out and I couldn't open my gallery anymore. So I had to turn on my Wi-Fi and all that stuff. But anyways, we're back to questions. So then we have, what editing software do I use? So I actually used DaVinci Resolve 15. I know that they have like an updated version of it, but I tried it, didn't really like it, so I used 15 still. Do I have any pets? Well, I mean, you saw Kiki in the beginning of this video. I do have a few pets. One of my babies sadly still lives with my mom for reasons I'd rather not discuss because it's kind of sad. But I do get to visit him very often. And I have Kiki, and she's a little crazy, but I love her. How did I meet No-No? So he's actually in a group chat that I'm in, and one day he was like, hey, let's do a video call. And so Nod and I jumped into a video call with him. We chatted up for a bit. About like 2 hours later, he's like, hey, you guys want to collab? And we're like, yeah. And so we drove down there after we bounced ideas off each other, had a collab set up, drove down there and actually officially got to meet him. But the first time we ever met him, we didn't get to know him, but we met him at the Tulsa Regional right before he announced that he was quitting YouTube. So this was a while back, and he was super duper nice there, but we did notice that he seemed a little off. It's always kind of sad to see one of your favorite people just having an off day, but yeah, he's a super great guy. Let's see. When did I start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And who recommended it to me? So I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Around the summer of 2017, somewhere between like June and August or something like that. And like I mentioned earlier, it was really Nod who got me into playing the game because he had just quit school and he was like, hey, you should play with me because my friends are working now and they don't have time to play with me anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! At first, but then Vendreads were introduced to come out and I got really excited about them, picked up the deck and absolutely fell in love with it. And so Nod got me into learning how to play the game, but Vendreads got me into the game. And it was really Nod who recommended me that I play because I used to watch them like almost every day whenever they played in school, but then I just never really learned how to play because I thought it was lame. Who would have guessed I would have liked it so much? What is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! And the players? I'm not kidding you, a list. A whole entire list of pet peeves whenever it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. And maybe one day I'll just kind of rattle them off. But the one that comes to mind immediately is the people that are like, well, I've been playing this deck since blah, 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 blah. Because I feel like it's really demeaning to people who are either new to the game or just new to playing that deck. There's a much nicer way to say, hey, here's some tips for how to play it. I've been playing this deck for quite a while. Then I've been playing this deck from whenever it came out. And that means you have to listen to my opinions about it. You know? I just feel like it's really elitist to be like, well, I am the god of this deck because I've played it since the first day it came out, you know? Versus, hey, here's some tips from a fan of this deck, you know? I don't know, I just feel like it's just really off-putting. And also there's just a lot of times when your deck changes with the format at the time and new cards being released and everything like that. So to say that, oh, I've been playing this deck since 2004 doesn't really make you right about your deck choices, because with new ban lists and new cards coming out, you might have known how to play the deck, you might have played the deck that long, but at the same time that doesn't mean that you're always going to be great at playing the deck, you know? You might not be great playing blah, blah, one format, but then you might really do well with it the next format. So just because you've been playing it for a certain amount of time doesn't mean that your card choices are always right. And I feel like it's kind of rude to kind of use the whole like excuse of you playing it since it came out or whatever as an excuse to push your opinions onto people, versus, hey, I'm a fan of this deck and here's some choices that I've kind of picked up along the way from play testing it, you know, for a really long time. And let's see here. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, that's it. So this has been my Q&A. Like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll definitely try to answer them as soon as I possibly can. Thank you to everyone that dropped in some really great questions. I really did enjoy reading them and I felt really bad that I didn't answer them immediately because I was like, no, I gotta save it for the video, you know? So I did try to like leave likes and little hearts on all the ones that like left a question just so that they saw that I saw it. But yeah, no, thank you so much for asking your questions. Hopefully I answered them pretty well, you know? And, oh, really quick, just in case anyone heard the beginning of my video or I'm jobless now, I'm going to be trying to come up with ideas of like things, like little things that you can do to support my channel, because I have once again been getting some questions about how people can support me and my channel. And outside of the Cash App, I feel like maybe I could have like, I don't know, some kind of little support for you guys. Like, hey, if you donated $5 this month, maybe you get something of this, you know? So I'm going to be coming up with ideas for that, hopefully. And if you have any ideas of stuff that you would like to get for possibly helping support me, definitely contact me on my Instagram at angel_of_alchemy. All that information should be down below, including my Cash App. So thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.